you see how much kidnappers are picking from victims.
My goodness. Government I think all these people guys get that, and I think we get that. The 3% for the oil producing community is too low.
But the support that is needed. And once you get the support, your energy will blossom.
This is Nigeria. You need to give people sense of belonging.
Good morning. Welcome to Monday, 17th January 2022 edition of Inside Nigeria. My name is Winifred Webo, and I trust you had a beautiful weekend. And I have with me in the studio to review the papers this morning our public affairs analyst, Samaila Musa. Samaila Musa, a pleasure.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Good morning, viewers.
Yes, Inside Nigeria, we're going to have 4 papers for review this morning. We have Nigeria's most influential newspaper, Leadership, sister publication, National Economy, and we have Nigerian Tribune and Blueprint newspapers. These are papers for review this morning. And of course, we are starting with our staple, Leadership. On Leadership this morning says, in 398 days to go, pressure mounts on President Muhammadu Buhari, National Assembly to pass electoral bill. 398 days to go, pressure mounts on President Muhammadu Buhari, National Assembly to pass electoral bill. On the rider, governors not afraid of direct primary, Sule. The people should have power to choose reps. Nigeria needs new law before close, Jega. Expunge direct primary clause, IPAC. And from NBA says, provisions in new bill are pro-people. Leadership, I'll take it again. 398 days to go. Pressure mounts on President Muhammadu Buhari, National Assembly to pass electoral bill. This on Leadership newspaper this morning. And of course, on that same Leadership, we have the second lead on the paper, on the cover. Sorry, and it says, disquiet in APC over fresh plot to extend convention dates beyond February. Disquiet in APC over fresh plot to extend convention dates beyond February. And still on APC convention, that is a story on Nigerian Tribune this morning. Let's have Nigerian Tribune. Yes. Convention, how APC may decide presidential chairmanship aspirants' fate. How APC may decide presidential chairmanship aspirants' fate. Talking of APC convention. Samela,
Yes.
these are stories making the rounds on Leadership and Nigerian Tribune this morning, talking about Electoral Act and Amendment Bill, and the forthcoming APC convention. So how do you marry the two?
Okay, first, let me say something about the Electoral Amendment Bill. I really do not think there's any necessity as to why we should be having this bickering up and down about whether it should be passed, it should not be passed. The president had a time frame to which he needed to, append his signature or not, and deliberately he did not. Which means automatically he will have to return that bill to the National Assembly, which he did. And the only excuse he later gave that we got to know from his interview on Channel Television was that he won the indirect primary. I mean, he's not appending his signature because of the direct primary clause in that bill. And if we are here debating all these, the time is of the essence. You're saying 398 days to go. What time do we have? Are we going to allow the National Assembly and the presidency to be trading this for another 6 months? No. If the president has been categorical about it, the National Assembly is also not serious. If they are serious, they know the right thing to do. But of course, they're in the same party. That's the right thing to do. Is not going to happen. We all know, they have their sentiments and all of that. So really, as far as a lot of us are concerned, is let them expunge that clause. There are so many other lofty contents in that bill that you shouldn't throw away the water, with the bad water, the baby with the bad water. So let it be taken care of. Expunge that clause, return it back to the president, and let him sign it. Most of those contents in that bill are actually pro people. You understand? And also the National Assembly is also not even thinking deeply, because if they are also thinking deep, they will know that their fate will always hang in the hands of their governors. And that's why if you are not in the good books of the governor as a senator, you are not coming back. You know that is given. Whether you are a man of the people, it doesn't matter, because not until you clinch the party ticket, you're not coming out. So really, they are not thinking deep. Their fate will always continue to hang in the hands of their state governors, right? So, having said all this, let that clause be expunged so that they don't waste our time. There seems to be time wasters. They know what they want to do. It's a script. They all, we don't really see any the need for all this time wasting thing. Expunge it and return it and let this thing be signed. That's our take. And then on the issue,
but sorry, still on the electoral amendment. Many people argue that the president waited for that 21 days to elapse before he could send it. That meaning that the president had, if he had wanted to sign, he could actually have written to the National Assembly to say, look, I have an argument with this clause, this current clause. Can you just remove it? Or even the president could have even signed and tell them, since they are his people, to expunge it. So how do you react to that?
That's why we're saying it's deliberate. The president deliberately did what he did. And I'll tell you why we say it's a script. He didn't do that without the consent of the leadership of the National Assembly. The other time when he came on channels, they asked him this question. Instead of just going straight to answer this question, he started reading out the credentials of the leadership of the National Assembly. What is the meaning of that? Was that the question saying, are we asking on the CV of the Senate President or the Speaker? You understand? So there's so many compromises. We're not even bothered with that, because they will read whatever it is they sow when the time is right, and the time is election time, which is coming around the corner. So whatever they do or do not do will always boomerang. Now, having said that, is let that clause be expunged, because I also perceive that there's a plot to actually use that as some kind of decoy. Perhaps they still have some intentions. There's no need for all that. So many lofty contents in that bill needs to see the light of the day. Let that go ahead. I mean, they should go ahead and do the needful and let the country move forward. That's just our take.
So now that leadership newspaper has begun a countdown.
Countdown, yeah.
298 days. So do you see the president actually acceding to the wishes of Nigerians to sign?
He had ample time.
Not forgetting the fact that previous years he also refused to sign. And
that's what I'm saying.
He cited proximity to elections. So
that's what I'm saying, that he had ample time to, wrote his name in gold, which he didn't. Whatever pressure that was on him that made him not to append his signature on that, I'm sure the pressure is still there. But what is unfortunate about that decision is that he is actually leaving. If he was staying back, you would want to make a point for him to say, oh, he's also trying to protect his own interest. But he's dancing to the wishes of these politicians who are actually there to use him. Now, their own names will not be mentioned in the long run. Whatever goes wrong with that, Buhari's name will be there. That when the time was right for him to stand with the people that actually put him there, he chose to go with the politicians, who are very few in number. So it's actually very bad. But you see, the point is this: if we have this number of days with this countdown to election, and we're talking about credible elections, people have spoken. The National Assembly have actually listened to their constituents to say, okay, is this what you want? Is this what you want? Submissions have been made from different places, and these things make up the bill. If we're talking about the credible elections, and we're also having it in mind that democracy is actually hinged on government of the people, for the people, and by the people, I do not see any reason why you should always discard the wishes of the people. Under whatever guise, if the majority have spoken, there is no need. You understand? It's just like what you do in the National Assembly to say either the ayes or the nays have it. there's no need for it if you know that you already know where this thing is going. You understand? If it's skewed towards a particular system, then we don't have, because the people don't have a say in the long run. So, but they still have time to do the right thing.
But Samala, many people are a bit disappointed, right? Generality of Nigerians, given the fact that President Muhammad Buhari has actually nothing to lose because he's leaving,
Yeah.
and that he could actually kowtow to the wishes of governors and some selected few.
That's actually what is happening. But what is unfortunate in that is that, considering his age, his year of experience, constitutionally, he does not have rights to contest for the president for the third time. He absolutely has nothing to lose. So there is no point for him to actually go with them rather than going with the people. I don't know. I told someone that I don't really know what they are telling him that is actually convincing him that he would rather go with them than go with the people. In another 398 days after that, by May 29, he will come and join the same people again.
Yes.
People have opportunities, and I'm sure he saw what happened to Jonathan after he decided to relinquish power. That there's so much honor attached to that. Just that single act of saying, okay, putting that call through to the incoming president, the person who won the election, which is the person of the incumbent president, has actually written his name not only in gold for years to come, for decades to come. We continue to make reference to that. Buhari also had that opportunity because we're talking about credible elections. This is all encompassing. It's just not one single act. What Jonathan did not just end at that day. It started from the time he decided to put a Jenga there. You understand?
Yes.
So
Yes.
really, it's all encompassing. So these are the things we're trying to point out to Mr.
Thank you
President.
so much. From electoral B, we'll move over to the APC convention. Secondly story on leadership newspaper this morning says that there's speculations that the convention date is going to be moved forward. And that's still the same story on Nigerian Tribune this morning, that how APC may decide presidential chairmanship aspirants pay. So what's your view on that?
There are conspiracy theories out there. As a matter of fact, some class believe that the APC is not ready for elections. And what they are pushing is to eventually get to a stage where they already stationed someone down that will take over as an interim president of the country. These are some of the narratives, because when a leading party, a ruling party that you expectedly, when you have a sitting president, you feel all other persons should fall in line. You expect this with the opposition because you don't have a sitting president. That respect might not be there. Everybody will tend to, you understand. So everybody tend to go their way. But when you have a sitting president, and yet within your own party, you cannot beat people to line. You cannot control what happens there. You cannot hold a convention. Primary election seems to be something that is rocket science to you. The body language is saying you are not ready for the general elections. So, and this is the fear. People are nursing this fear already that, look, do you think these people are willing to hand over power? What they are trying to do is what the constitution allows, that when you cannot hold the election, because the president needs to vacate that seat, there will be an interim government. So perhaps that's what they're pushing for, because really it beats all logic. There's no any excuse whatsoever you want to give that as a ruling party you cannot conduct yourself to even hold a party convention. You're having this issue about who is going to be the chairman. You're having issue about where to even zone the presidency to. Nobody is certain as to what you want to do. Even the candidature of the candidates are not certain yet. You come out to say this today, another time the president will be saying another thing. Really, no, but there are so many uncertainties hovering around the ruling party, and that does not augur well. And I keep saying to people, you see, when a ruling party, whatever a ruling party does or did not do, have a way of affecting the rest of us in the country. You cannot say, oh, it's APC problem. No, it's a problem of all Nigerians, because what they do or do not do will affect all of us in the long run. And that's why we shouldn't, go to bed and sleep.
And there are speculations too that the convention may be moved forward. That is on leadership newspaper. That is
that's the plot. We keep saying that they will keep shifting it.
He said, despite APC over fresh plot to extend convention day beyond February. And if I may chip in, the president had told Nigerians in November that the convention would be held in February, and now we are hearing of stories to move the convention day forward.
You see, when they announced that earlier that it will be February, some persons already predicted that it's not going to hold in February because the internal wranglings in the party does not suggest so. And so everybody is actually saying it seems all the predictions are coming to be true. You understand? And if the predictions are coming to be true, some other predictions are saying the plot is the end result of what you want to achieve. You are not ready for the general elections. It's begin to look like, oh, it seems this thing is true because the earlier predictions are saying you're not going to hold this convention this time, and you're also shifting it. Then you probably towing the line of what the predictions have been saying. So really, there's so much fear in the system to feel, oh, some other parties are actually wasting their time because the ruling party doesn't, set any precedent that's or suggest that they are actually willing to go into a general elections, and that is actually is not a good one for our democracy. Especially at this time, we should have passed this stage. Our focus should be should have passed the stage of even this electoral amendment bill. It's been how long now? We still foot dragging on it as to what to do, whether to throw it out, whether to expunge it, or that clause that the president is complaining about and stuff like that. We should have passed all that stage. The stage now is parties should be getting prepared for primary election to say, okay, this, or to even be certain as to where each party is zoning it to, because there's so much fear. And you see, some of these fears are not actually good for the country, because the polity is already overheated. So you just want to do things that really brings the temperament of people down, that really calm nerves, to say no, everything is actually in order, and the democracy or the proponents are actually in top gear. We're going to achieve it. But the way it's going, the ruling party is making a mess of the whole thing.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Now, I just want to add before we move over to the next paper for review. Now, with these rankings going on in APC, now how do you relate it then with these electoral amendment?
You mean
Do you see the president signing the bill, considering the fact that if
the
they
National
have
Assembly?
rankings within their party?
The National Assembly already knows it's not going to sign. It's a decoy. It's a script played out. They know what they want to achieve. They already planned it even before they sent it to him. They say, Mr. President, don't worry.
It's obvious
we'll
that
send it
APC
to
is
you.
not ready for the next election.
Yeah, they will tell him, don't worry, we will send it to you. Waste time. Make sure you elapse the dates. Maybe 2 days after, you can send it back to us. We know what to do. So it's all a script. And like I said earlier, they are not ready, and it's already playing out that really there's no willingness as to that. But you see, the earlier the better. Let them all. They should let the nation or the country to know what is their agenda. What is the agenda behind all these things? You understand? Because if you do not know, just common party chairman, you can't even resolve that for the past how many months. You understand? I do not see how you want to go about primary election, and have a successful primary election. So this whole thing is tiring, because at each time you think the country is actually supposed to be moving forward, some elements are drawing it back by 10, 20 years, and that's not a good one for the country.
Thank you so much for your views.
Yeah.
Well, from politics, we are moving over to economy, talking about business. That is on national economy leadership publication. On the cover today says, what Nigeria must do to attract foreign investments in 2022. See experts. What Nigeria must do to attract foreign investments in 2022. And Samela, we are currently in 2022. So,
Yeah,
what
you see,
can be done? Because we keep doing the same thing
over and
over
over.
and over and expect different results.
Yeah, you see, the point is, regardless of what you think you are doing, whatever it is that you want to do, we're talking about foreign direct investments. The country is not secure. There is not any investor in his right frame of mind that goes into such economy. You understand? Because we're not talking about a small amount of money. We're talking about huge amount of money in perhaps billions or millions of dollars. You don't expect anybody to just come and start sinking their money in a place where there's so much uncertainty as to regards to insecurity. That is number one, that is paramount. From the time we started having these issues, because by the time the insecurity issue left the Northeast, everything nosedived. Foreign direct investment nosedived by more than 50%. You understand? Because initially you could say, oh, you can invest in any other place, but not in Northeast. But by the time it goes round the whole, because when you put down the map of Nigeria and try to mark the insecure places in red, it's just a few places you see that it's not dotted red. So these are the things investors are looking at when they want to come. You understand? On their drawing board, they have this map. They know where the red flags are. So by the time you have this red flag spread all around the place, they feel, oh, so it seems the whole country, there's nowhere that is secure. Because apart from getting our own people who are going to be either trained or something, or to man some positions within the chain of that investment, their own people are coming in. There are supposed to be some seismic tests carried out, some survey carried out, and all of that. And from time to time, we even see where the embassies are also. And let me tell you, most of the embassies will take a cue from whatever American embassy is telling its people. You understand? Because they believe in their security report. And from time to time, they keep dishing out some of the security report to say so and so areas are not secure for their citizens. So these are all some of the things that make up this. So regardless of whatever you think you are doing, if you refuse to solve the problem of insecurity, you are not doing anything. You understand? Now, if that will be taken care of, then we begin to talk about the issue of infrastructure. You understand? In so many cases, some of this infrastructure, the ones that we even had that are manageable, have been destroyed due to some of these insecurity issues. You need to start laying new infrastructure for the investors to come and put their own, to be more or less of a template for them to just key in. Because it costs times 3 when the infrastructures are not there in most of these cases, you understand, to begin with. So they look at it as, and you see, electricity is key.
Yes.
We have seen in a case where, or in so many cases where companies had to leave the shores of Nigeria and go to neighboring countries like Ghana because our electricity is not stable. It makes cost of production to triple. So, and every businessman is there to make profit. They're not running charity organizations. No matter, even you as a Nigerian, you want to build your country, but there will be a time you need to tell yourself the truth. That what am I here for? You understand? If I want to run a charity organization, I better channel my funds to the charity organization, to that foundation, rather than be running at a loss, because you need to pay salaries, you need to do this, So really, if you do not have a stable electricity, whatever you think you want to put in place, you are actually making a mockery of the whole system. That is not achievable. So I think we need to look inward, take care of all these issues before we begin to, jet all around the world in the name of looking for foreign direct investment. The people you are jetting out to go and meet are also not stupid. You understand? You can keep having endless meetings, taking tea from one meeting room to the other, where you are not doing the needful. After your meeting, they are also sending their own people to come and check what is going on. And with the internet, you can access whatever information you want to access within a click. So really, it's a more or less of a waste of time if you keep jetting out there in the name of, or sometimes you see governors taking their own entourage. You see the president doing the same thing. It's a waste of time. What has that gotten you? Where has that gotten you over time? What you need to do is to fix the internal problems that you are having. You don't need to even go and invite those people. They are seeing what is going on. The moment that is fixed, they will be the one to be calling on you or to be coming in to say, please, this is what we want to do. And that is just the way forward.
Thank you so much for your thoughts there. While viewers, we are going on the break now. When we come back, we'll be reviewing our last paper on our menu. Don't go away.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Inside Nigeria, keeping you informed on what matters.
Welcome back. This is Inside Nigeria, reaching you on Leadership Television. With me in the studio is Samaila Musa. Musa is a public affairs analyst. Musa, thank you so much once again.
Thank you for having
me. Our program this morning. And I remember we have our last paper on the menu, as I said earlier, and that is Blueprint. Blueprint is talking security issue on this morning. It says 9 days after Gazette on bandits, Buhari orders major military operations in Niger. 9 days after Gazette on bandits, Buhari orders major military operations in Niger. Terrorists kill 15 in Mashegu. We paid over 200 million as ransom in 3 years, says Zamfara community. Winnie hates Buhari. One on improved security in Northeast. 4 federal varsity Lafia students regain freedom. This is on Blueprint newspaper. And of course, other papers that we reviewed earlier also have story, cover-made a story on Buhari's ordering major military operation in Nigeria. Something I would say is about time because we've been seeing stories on Niger how Boko Haram has taken control over some local government.
That issue, the issue of Niger it's even a bit confusing. Sometimes you hear it's a Boko Haram, sometimes you hear it's ISWA, another time it's headsmen. That place is actually Niger seems to be a place where geographically happens to be at the center, sort of, but then so much room for all these people to thrive. As a matter of fact, because of their land size, actually, I know it's about the largest, so perhaps that gives room for all of this. But I mean, most of these guys will have to come through some other routes before they arrive at Niger. So you're thinking where and where, because if you can make it in the case of Borno, because of border area and all of that, you can say, oh, it's easy. You can take a bike into Chad or into this and come in. But when you talk about places like Niger, you're wondering, how come our security is so relaxed that people can actually move all the way from neighboring countries and come and converge in Niger without actually anybody spotting them or anybody raising alarm? But over time, we have seen that perhaps it's only Zamfara. When you talk about this part of the north, apart from Northeast, that is actually topping the charts above Niger, or maybe they should be at par. And it's really, really unfortunate because you see, Niger is sharing a border with the FCT, and that's why it's most dangerous. All they needed to do is to really divide or shift their attention towards FCT, and it's a matter of time if nothing is done on time. But you see, the governor at the point got frustrated.
Yes.
He has cried out so many times. So if this is coming actually at this time, and well, thank God, they say it's coming 9 days after, this issue, the issue of terrorists was gazetted. So now we can actually refer to them as terrorists, even though we know that's what they've always been. And how do you treat terrorists? Because I do not think there's any need for any form of arrest. Sometimes you hear arrest and you're getting angry. When the people have wiped out a whole village and you are arresting them, you say they are going to be arraigned in court. In what court? To go and start doing what? To get lawyers to defend them? Because when you talk about getting lawyers, they have all the money in the world. You understand? When you look at the kind of monies these people are collecting for ransom, you get what I'm saying? So it's much. So we can be dancing around the judiciary or all this nonsense in the name of or seeking justice or getting justice for this or that. That shouldn't be even the case. They should be wiped out. That's the language they understand. Some of them that were given amnesty in some places, we've seen how they went back into the same business because there is no any other thing that can fetch them that kind of outrageous amount of money. You cannot be collecting that kind of money and somebody wants you to go back to farm or to go back and be rearing cattle. It's not going to happen. How do you juxtapose the two? You're already a billionaire. That thing you're doing, or you're a billionaire, that cannot fetch you that kind of money. Your mouth is already wide. So how do you start adjusting to start, reducing your expenses? I mean, your expenditure and all of that. So really, it's a very difficult thing to do. The best thing to do is actually to wipe them out. And well, we need to give kudos to the president if he's standing up to say, to give the military the go ahead to do the necessary onslaughts that is needed in that place to pound these people out.
Yes, talking about military operations, since 9 days after transit, which gives us the right to use our super to scan jets. Nothing has been heard on that area.
Well,
is the military going to use the super to scan jets?
I want to believe perhaps maybe this order is going to involve the use of these Tucano jets because, of course, we know that the usage is one of the reasons why they had to gazette this thing, because the American government will not allow you to make use of some of these things if you're just calling them bandits and all of that. But so really, I want to believe this major, because they say major military operations. I want to believe it involves that, and that's why we're saying we don't need to come out in the papers to say we are deploying our Tucano jets to go and fight them, because I keep saying our military keep making the same mistake over and over. You want to go and bombard a place by 12 p.m. today. You are already announcing it yesterday that you are going there with so and so and so and so and so and so. So are those people stupid that they will wait for you until you arrive? Do you get what I'm saying? So we are hoping this major operation is actually involving all the necessary things they think they will need there to actually combat this terrorists.
Yeah, and you also said something about we have these bandits or terrorists, whatever they are being arraigned instead of, you talked about wiped out. I think that was the issue the governor of Zamfara, Matawale, also raised. That you see most of these bandits released after a while and they just roam around free.
Yes. And you see,
being taken into custody or being
you understand, and that's the aspect that is even more dangerous with that.
What is giving them impunity.
What the aspect that is more dangerous in that regard is that it actually cowed quite a lot of people who have one information or the other about them. You don't go out to divulge information when you know that they will eventually know and they are coming back. As a matter of fact, in some of the arrests, they are sending message to the people who sold them out that you will see, we are coming back, and when we are back, you are dead. You understand? So that is going to discourage a lot of people who have one information or the other that is going to be useful to our security operatives eventually not to have the balls to come out to actually give any information. Because when people who are this deadly or this dangerous are actually coming back into the society, so what do you think is going to happen to the people who actually sold them out, or people who gave one information or the other that led to their arrest? Really a bad one. It's really a bad one.
A strong law in place to take care of their terrorists.
I think this should be one of the things. I really have not really studied what that act, this gazette, even though I just scanned through, I know it involves everyone who is involved with them one way or the other, from the people who supply them even petrol, to the people who go on surveillance for them, people who give them security informations and all of that, are all going to be termed as terrorists and going to be given the same treatment. But I've not really taken my time to study what this act is actually talking about in total as to what is going to be their fate when they are caught. But I want to believe that it shouldn't be all this arrangement or something. It should be death penalty. It should be very, very explicit to mention it, that this is what's happening, so that we don't keep wasting our time. Because when they have good lawyers, they can also actually wriggle out of it in the long run.
Thank you so much. The issue of security is one that Nigeria has to deal with and tackle as the election draws near, so that we can have a free and credible election in a place devoid of terrorism. Thank you so much for your presence.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Well, viewers, this is all we're going to be on today's edition. Tomorrow, don't forget, tomorrow is another day, and I look forward to seeing you. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.